So, a romantic comedy with zombies. Sounds kind of familiar, doesn't it? Like Shaun of the Dead. However, Shaun of the Dead was more just comedy, whereas this one is actually more of like a romantic comedy, but told from the point of view of a flesh-eating zombie. Kind of sounds unbelievable and maybe kind of risque, but it actually was pretty good. So yeah, Warm Bodies. Well, like I said, it's an actual romantic comedy. It was actually pretty funny and actually at many points pretty cute. It's probably rare to hear a guy say cute for a movie, but that is one way to describe some of the events in the movie. It was cute. I mean, it's just a zombie falls in love with a girl after eating her boyfriend, and protects her and helps her try to get back to her home. It was great. It was cute, and the evolution of how they all become humans was great. It was good. The concept, the story, it was good. It was really good, and I actually want to read the book now. It's actually based on a novel by somebody, and I actually want to read it now because of this. And concept story was great, and I liked how it was decently. The time length of the movie was actually very decent. It wasn't like a 2 hour movie. It's like an hour and 45 minutes. That was a really good amount of time for this movie. They didn't need to add a lot of things or make it even longer for like 2 or 2.5 hours. The hour and 45 minutes that was made was perfect for this movie. The zombies themselves were very well done. I liked the makeup. Even though it was very simple makeup, it seemed to fit the movie. And I'm glad that with the movie, they didn't like talk about what started the apocalypse or anything. They give a brief mention. They're like, I don't. The main character, the zombie, his narration, he narrates the whole movie. He goes, I don't remember exactly how it started, and there's these flashes of like newspaper clippings or stuff, stuff you'd seen in apocalypse movies or something like that. And he goes, but who really cares? I forget. And that was pretty cool. I was like, just because this is post-apocalyptic, who the fuck cares how it all began? The relationship between the girl, Jules, and the zombie character who basically adopts the name of R because he just remembers that his name back when he was human started with an R, and she just out of defense basically just calls him R. And the relationship together was very, very sweet, and you could believe that he loved her, and then eventually she loves him. And you could even though yes, true zombie fans like myself, I've loved zombies since the original George A. Romero movies, would kind of find it hard to believe that zombies would be cured by love, but this is one of those things where you have to, give it an exception and kind of give it some leeway because this is kind of a comedy and nonetheless a romantic comedy. You have to give it some leeway and be like, you know what, I'll let that pass, because it does fit the story and it's a comedy, it's not a serious movie. This was like a serious horror movie. I think we would try and do something other than love to find a cure for zombies. So it's one of those things we have to let that slide. Yeah, the relationship was good. The zombies were pretty good. And one thing I did particularly like of this movie was the narration of R. R narrates the entire movie, and it's not and his narration doesn't take place after the events of the movie. He's actually narrating as the movie's going along. He's narrating as things happen. Like at the beginning of the movie, he's like, "Oh, when he first gets introduced, he's like, I hope for this and that, but oh yeah, that's right, I'm dead." And it just shows him, and then the rest of the zombies in the airport. He's like, that guy's dead, that guy's dead, that guy in the corner is definitely dead. And it's kind of funny, and I guess I didn't see it, but there's probably a zombie just lying dead on the floor, not even moving. And it was one point where he's trying to hide, and he's walking past a goat, and a goat like stops and stares at him, and he doesn't speak, but his narration goes, "Get away! Go back with your friends! Go! It was pretty funny. I particularly like that a lot. Some parts he does talk, like his vocal cords. He actually does talk. He doesn't, but it's only occasionally that he'll speak narration, because he's always in his head, like he's staring at her, and she's kind of staring back. Sometimes he'll go, "Oh, quit staring! You're being a creeper. Look away." So, and he doesn't speak, and he only speaks when necessary, because it's a struggle for him to speak, because he's a zombie. Most of his, everything's dead. It's hard for his vocal cords to move. But as he, gets cured more and more, of course, it gets better. There wasn't really much character development with this movie. It was kind of simple character development. But with a romantic comedy, you don't really expect much character development anyway. But it was good character development. It wasn't like just too simple to where it's like, everybody is one-sided. There was some dimension to everybody, and everybody's struggles, and it was believable, and it got to progress more and more as the movie went on. And even though it had some cliched romantic comedy character development particularly in the case of R and Jules, there was a little bit of a cliche with the romantic comedy character development. But with seeing it with a zombie movie, kind of made it somewhat new, just because it's in a different different genre, it's in horror, not like drama, real life romantic comedy stuff that you see every day. It just kind of made it seem fresh and new in a way, because it's shown in a seemingly different genre with horror and zombies. So it was a little different. However, John Malkovich's character was a little one-dimensional, not two or three-dimensional like some of the other characters, but it was necessary for him to be kind of one-dimensional, because he was all like, we just need to kill the zombies, that's it. There was nothing really much to him. But again, it was understandable that he would be one-sided. But he does, towards the end of the movie, I'm not revealing anything, but towards the end of the movie, he does start to develop slightly. Just a little bit. So he starts to become maybe two-dimensional, but throughout the whole movie, he's just one-dimensional, just, only one thing on his mind. But other than that, yes, it was a very good movie. I like that they had a different level of zombies. They have these characters called the Bonies, or the zombies call them Bonies. The humans call them skeletons, because they're basically just a skeletal formation of the zombies. Because eventually all the zombies, eventually when they go too far, decaying, that eventually all their skin falls off, and they're just basically like one layer of skin and bones, pretty much. And they're just basically the last step, and I guess the zombie evolution before they just stop moving entirely and just be dead. And those were like the villains of the piece, and they were pretty interesting, kind of creepy at times, I will admit. And it was pretty cool, but it also was funny to kind of explain how they evolve into that. Again, one of my favorite bits of narration. There's a zombie sitting at the airport just up against the wall, and he's scratching. He starts peeling away his skin, and you hear R's narration go, "No, don't pick at it. Oh, don't pick at that." It was cute, and it was interesting, and like I said, gives a really good villain to the piece, and kind of shows more of like. More of a, what was I going to say, more of a human element maybe, because, actually no, I'm sorry, not a human element. It shows more of how far gone, zombies could get after a while, because love is basically the cure for these zombies, and when they become Bonies, they basically forget all emotion. They're basically just like kill it. They're kind of like the character of John Malkovich's characters. They become one-dimensional and just care all about killing. Whereas the zombies, they still have some time. Once they start seeing love, they start getting their hearts start beating. They start seeing like their memories a little bit. When they develop more, they start seeing more memories, and then they function more, and everything. They become more human because of that. So it was cool to see that, but. Yeah, if you're a diehard zombie fan, I will have to tell you now, give this movie a little leeway. Don't go in there thinking this is going to be like your most dreamed about zombie movie. with just a little bit of romantic comedy elements. No, this is zombie movie, but altered just slightly. So, but but I'm sure any zombie fan will still enjoy this. After watching the movie, I'd have to admit it was kind of like a new generation's version of Shaun of the Dead. How, excuse me, how Shaun of the Dead was was our comedy, like a comedy parody that kind of started the revival of the zombie, the zombie genre, and this is kind of like the same thing with this generation, except it's not reviving it. It's just continuing on. Like we've made another leap in the stages of the zombie genre. I'm not saying it's a cornerstone film. I'm just saying it's just a refresher maybe. If you have horror movies, we had something that not really revive it, but bring new breath to it, to bring a new vision to it. And this is like one of those movies. So I would say out of 5 stars, I'd give this 3.5. I was thinking about just giving this 3, but because of because of how they handled the romantic comedy element a little bit in there and handled it pretty well, I thought I'd give it an extra point. Just for the extra credit. Just for that little effort, I thought I'd give 3.5. So yeah, that is my review for Warm Bodies. I hope you enjoyed the movie, and I hope, zombie fans out there don't get, offended by this movie. Go, oh my god, they ruined the zombie genre. If you think that, then I'd say no, it's not. If you want to see something that destroyed genre and the lore of mythology that we've been around for generations and generations, watch Twilight. Toodaloo.